Now, Mazda's had a couple plug-in hybrids in the CX-70 and the CX-90, but a lot of people don't want to plug in their hybrids. They just want to gas up their cars and go and get great fuel economy. Finally, Mazda is entering into the hybrid game with the CX-50 that's built in Alabama, and they're using Toyota's technology. In today's video, we're going to dive into this new hybrid of the CX-50, but we're also going to compare it to the two other big hybrids. And I mean, it would take me another hour to formulate this if I put the Sportage or the Tucson in here as well. Okay, those are also good hybrids, but I want to compare them to the Japanese competition. And unfortunately, the Nissan Rogue doesn't have an e-Power hybrid in the United States. That's a subject for another day, but I will compare it to these models, the Rav4 hybrid and the CR-V hybrid, and you'll be surprised how well it stacks up. Let's get into it. If you guys enjoy any sort of Mazda coverage, smash the heck out of the like button. Now we're just waiting for Nissan and Subaru to enter their hybrids. We know 100% Subaru will be bringing the Forester with the hybrid in the near future, probably early 2025. Again, teaming up with Toyota, but more than likely they will use the Boxer engine. Mazda's just saying, hey, Toyota, you already have it figured out. Let's just buy your powertrains from you, namely the RAV4, and stick it in to our vehicle. Now we finally know that it is going to be the 2.5 liter 4th gen hybrid system that is seen in the RAV4 hybrid. It's the exact same powertrain. All right, 219 horsepower, 38 miles per gallon is what they're rated at here. That will change on the trim level and the wheel size, of course. For example, I just got done driving the Camry this week, and the miles per gallon on there was not as good as I was hoping because of the 19-inch wheels on there. If I was driving with the 16-inch wheels on the LE, I probably could have got 60 miles per gallon easily. I'm almost positive I would have. These wheels are 17-inch wheels on the basic hybrid here, so that will help fuel economy. It is all-wheel drive standard, kind of like the RAV4 hybrid. And we'll talk about how the CR-V is a little bit different. They're saying the CX-50 hybrid offers an additional 100 miles of extra driving range compared to the 2.5 liter models. I'm not going to get deep into the naturally aspirated trim levels or the turbo trim levels. It's all about, in my opinion, the pricing and the packaging of these hybrid models for the CX-50. Hybrids are the name of the game right now. Finally, Mazda has a hybrid here that's not in the plug-in form. All right, it's using Toyota hybrid system. It doesn't explicitly say 4th gen system, but we know that 219 is what the RAV4 has, okay? And that uses a 4th gen. So it's just a copy and paste for using Toyota's 4th gen hybrid. What about the 5th gen and the Camry? Why didn't Mazda get the 5th gen hybrid? They don't want to give Mazda an advantage over Toyota's crossover hybrid. The first 5th gen 2.5 liter crossover we'll see will be the RAV4 redesign coming out probably sometime early next year would be my guess. All right, and then the CX-50 will get that 5th gen hybrid maybe next year or the year after. It's smoother, it's more powerful, it's more efficient, it's fantastic. All right, just watch all my Camry driving impressions. That 5th gen hybrid is really, really good. Now, the 4th gen's good too. It's just not as smooth and it's not as torquey. All right, but it's pretty much just as efficient. Really, really good, and it's bulletproof, reliable Toyota's hybrid system. So instead of coming up with their own hybrid system, just saying, hey, big brother Toyota, who owns, I think, around 5% of Mazda, they're saying, hey, give us your powertrain, we'll pay you for it. And then they instantly have a player in the game right now in the hybrid crossover market. It's a 40% better fuel economy compared to the 2.5S naturally aspirated 2.5 liter. 40%. Why wouldn't you get this? Well, it comes down to price. So let's get down to price and then we'll get into packaging. If you want to get your feet wet in a CX-50 hybrid before destination, it's about $34,000. It's about $4,000 more compared to the base CX-50 that gets 40% worse fuel economy. I could go real deep into the hybrids, each individual trim level here. Instead, I made a spreadsheet and I didn't talk about the middle trim level, which is the premium for the CX-50, which is a really good buy, but I wanted to compare the top of the line CX-50 Premium Plus versus the RAV4 Limited Hybrid and the CR-V Sport Touring Hybrid, and also the base level hybrid compared to the comparable CR-V Sport and the RAV4 XLE. There's an asterisk here because the XLE is not the base hybrid for Toyota. They have a bargain basement LE, which comes in at about $1,500 less, but the XLE is a much better buy than the base LE, I would say. All right, so what do we get for comparable prices here? Well, the CX-50 after destination is about $1,000 more than the CR-V Sport model, as well as the RAV4 XLE. However, it is standard all-wheel drive, like the RAV4. If you want all-wheel drive on the CR-V Sport Hybrid, you have to add an additional $1,500. Your fuel economy goes down too because there's a mechanical linkage. It doesn't have an electric motor in the back. Honda will be rolling out a next-gen hybrid system in 2026, but until then, we still have mechanical linkage, which has its benefits for all-wheel drive, but it definitely takes a hit with fuel economy because it is a heavier system. I dropped my pen. It is a heavier system compared to these more simple all-wheel drive where they don't need a drive shaft going to the rear wheels. Power is 219 horsepower, right? Because it's the same powertrain between the CX-50 and the RAV4. The CR-V has a better torque response off the line, but its peak power is not quite as good. And let's see, miles per gallon, I forgot to type this in. It looks like it's 40 miles per gallon, which is right there with the CX-50 and the RAV4. But if you add all-wheel drive, it's 37. So it's definitely less efficient compared to these all-wheel drive systems, just by a little bit. But the front-wheel drive CR-V Sport is definitely my recommendation. If you need all-wheel drive, I guess you can get it. Anyways, wheel size. CR-V has bigger wheels. Bigger wheels are cooler looking. They typically handle better. But the problem with 18-inch wheels, the bigger the wheel size, the worse fuel economy you're going to get. The Honda and the Toyota have cloth seats. You have leatherette on the CX-50, and those are also heated front seats. And the CR-V Sport also has heated front seats while they're optional in the XLE. There's no moonroof option on the CX-50. It's optional on the XLE, and it is standard on the CR-V Sport. Now, this is where Mazda also blows the competition away here. It has a standard wireless charger, which the other two don't. It also has a bigger screen, a much bigger screen here that is a touchscreen compared to the 8 and 7-inch screen for the competition. As I'm looking at this, it looks like the CX-50 can absolutely go toe-to-toe with the RAV4 and the CR-V. And the CR-V does not look like the best buy here, in my opinion. You have to pay more for all-wheel drive. Your fuel economy is not quite as good when you get all-wheel drive, and the screen's really small. There's no power lift gate on the base model. The CX-50, at least when it comes to these specs, provides maybe the best buy on the base trim. What do these other models do better than the CX-50 by default? Well, they have better cargo space. They have better rear legroom. The CX-50 has cramped rear legroom, if I remember. It also has a cramped headroom. So both of these are much roomier, more space efficient, and that's where the CX-50 just can't keep up with them. The CX-50 to me is more of a bargain Crown Signia. The Crown Signia for Toyota starts around $45,000, tops off in the low 50s. This thing is very wagon. It's low slung. It's long. It's kind of boaty, the CX-50. And it is, in my opinion, kind of like that hybrid bargain compared to the Crown Signia wagon. Now, the CX-50 by default has a torsion beam rear suspension. These two have independent rear suspension, so the ride quality in theory is a little bit better on here. But the CX-50 is still really fun to drive. It's still fun to throw in the turns, has a heavy steering feel to it. The CR-V still does handle really, really well. The RAV4 is this kind of vanilla in terms of ride quality, in terms of sportiness. All right, let's go into the top of the line models with the Premium Plus for the CX-50 and the RAV4 Limited, as well as the CR-V Sport Touring. The Sport Touring here is the most expensive, but there are really no optional packages. The RAV4 Limited can get this $2,500 advanced tech package that comes with a panel roof, digital rearview mirror, 360 camera, Qi wireless charger, heated steering wheel, rear outboard heated seats. Like, it gets really, really loaded up with features there, with that package, but it's also going to cost more than the competition at that point as well. I just put in the wheel size here. I updated that for the CR-V as well as updated the fuel economy. The Honda and the Mazda have better seats than the Softex on the RAV4. We have a standard panoramic moonroof, but you can get this panoramic moonroof, I think, in the Bose sound system on the Premium Non-Plus. But the Premium Plus comes with a head-up display, mind you, as well. And I think the RAV4 can have a head-up display too. I think it's standard on the Limited, if I remember it correctly. I just didn't write it in. All right, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not going to look it back up. And the head-up display is not even optional on the CR-V Sport Touring, nor is a pano sunroof. You just have the standard sunroof. You have a small screen, a 9-inch screen, which Mazda, again, the base screen here is a 10.25-inch screen. You do not have ventilated seats on the Sport Touring Hybrid either. So for me, unless you need leather, I know there's this CR-V Sport L Hybrid, but to me, it's just not worth it. The CR-V Sport is the best buy in the CR-V lineup, in my opinion, because you just don't get enough features to justify the $8,000 price jump. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. Bigger wheels, you know, yes, you go from cloth seats to leather seats. It's just not worth it. All right. The Premium Plus here is a pretty good buy. Standard panel roof. You have power folding mirrors. Don't think is on the Toyota or the Honda. Heated and ventilated seats. Again, you cannot get ventilated seats on the Honda. You cannot get a head-up display on the Honda. You also have a Bose sound system on the Honda too, which is going to compete well with the Mazda. All right, and those Bose sound systems are typically better than the JBL sound systems. All right, you get fog lights on the RAV4 Limited if you absolutely need to have fog lights, but to me, the Premium Plus here is a better buy than the RAV4 Limited, as well as the CR-V Sport Touring. And the CX-50 Premium Hybrid goes toe-to-toe quite well, and you can say is equipped better than the RAV4 and CR-V hybrids with a similar trim levels. Again, the CX-50 suffers against the competition with its stiffer rear suspension. It's going to suffer with interior passenger space and cargo space compared to the competition, but they are definitely within the same segment. And the CX-50 is fine, and I'm happy that I finally got the hybrid. I like the CX-5 personally better. It's a little bit roomier, and I like the styling of it a little bit more. I have more headroom in it. I think the cargo capacity between the two is pretty similar. And I think there's a little bit more rear leg room in the CX-5. All right, the CX-5 will be getting a redesign and supposedly using Mazda's own hybrid technology, not Toyota's hybrid technology. So that will be coming down the hatch in the next year or two for the redesigned CX-5. But in the meantime, Mazda, thank you for finally bringing a hybrid system. You're doing the right thing using Toyotas. It's proven, it's reliable, it's efficient, and it's quick enough. All right. I tried to build the CX-50 hybrid on Mazda's website. They're just not available yet. They're coming in late 2024, but it's great that we have pricing and packaging for them, and they do provide a really good value, especially this base preferred model, as long as you don't need a panel roof. And in fact, without the roof, you're going to have better headroom in the CX-50, which is much appreciated. All right. Anyways, I got to cut myself off. Thank you guys for watching. Great to have more hybrids on the market. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.